Setting priorities is the core responsibility for conscious leadership. It's a way that you play out this idea of the strategist, right? The first of the 5 responsibilities of a leader, the strategist. And so I offer you these 4 questions to consider as you're setting priorities, because priorities are, by definition, from top to bottom, right? Most important, next most, least important. If everything is a priority, nothing is a priority. You've heard this said before, but it's something important to keep in mind as we're working towards fewer leadership breakdowns, more conscious leadership, and better results. So question number 1 that you want to ask yourself as you're setting priorities is, how much time do I have? If it's a priority for myself, how much time do I have? If it's a priority for my team, how much time do we have collectively? Because attention at some point is going to manifest as time. What happens more often than not is that a leader takes their eye off the clock, is not aware of how much time is available, and sets a priority that cannot be accomplished in the time given. So number 1 question, how much time do I have? The second question you want to ask yourself as you're setting priorities is am I focused? If I'm not focused, I'm distracted. Being busy is not the same as being productive. Being busy is just, getting a lot of energy being expended. Being productive is doing things in an intentional way, in a focused way. So in part, the name of the game here is focus your attention. Am I focused? Is my team focused? Is the organization focused? Are we too distracted or distractible? Are we, in fact, attending to things that are pulling our awareness in all different directions? If I'm not focused, then my priorities, in effect, are just reactions. There's a difference between being focused and being reactive. The third question that I ask myself is really a critical question about what makes my organization tick. When you set priorities, you're setting them in an ecosystem. You're not setting them in a vacuum. When you set priorities, the question you have to ask yourself is, what makes my organization tick? In other words, how does it work together? How does marketing work with sales? How does sales work with production? How does production work with shipping? How does shipping work with billing? How does billing work with the administrative offices? How does my organization tick? If you don't answer that and you're setting priorities in a vacuum, you are creating internal competition, friction, and distraction. The degree to which you can climb off the deck of the ship and onto the crow's nest to get a bigger perspective of your organization will be the degree to which you are setting the priorities that are cumulative rather than disruptive. And the fourth question is, what are my organization's limits? Limits in terms of resources, limits in terms of capacity, limits in terms of skill. See, one of the greatest challenges of every leader is to match their ambition with their bandwidth. My limits are my bandwidth. And when your ambitions are out of line with your bandwidth, when you want more than you have the things to do with, your people get really frustrated. Stress goes up and your credibility goes down. So as you're setting priorities, ask yourself these 4 questions. How much time is available? Am I focused? What makes my organization tick? And how much capacity do we have?